I'm Chad, and welcome back to Tamaqua Free Press. Today we're looking at the 15-minute city. 15-minute cities is becoming one of the urbanism's way of seeing if a city is livable and its conditions. 15-minute city is assuming that wherever it is that you live, within 5 minutes you can reach something like a convenience store or daily essentials, and within 15 minutes a non-vehicle, say a bicycle or scooter or something, you should be able to reach everything that you would need within your daily needs. So we're talking medicine, like a pharmacy, a medical facility, like a hospital or doctor's offices, convenient care, grocery stores, and everything that you would need to cover your life. So what I've decided to do is, as I'm sitting here in front of the borough building here, I realize it's probably backwards, but we're going to go to pretty much the far ends of the borough of the town. So we're looking at a town of a population of about 7,000 people. So, and it's kind of oddly shaped, more like an elongated oval or a diamond, where east and west are the furthest points you can go, and north and south are very short. So it's long, more like distance-wise in one direction, and very thin in the other direction. So I know that there's a couple areas that are the furthest, and then we're going to pick some of those, including my own house, and then we're going to see if we can actually do 5-minute walk, and if I can reach, say, a convenience store to at least say, all right, I need something to drink, I need some eggs, milk, whatever. And then I'm going to take from the exact same locations, I'm going to take my bike and see within 15 minutes what I can reach. Can I reach a medical facility? Can I reach a grocery store? Can I reach the schools? Because there's only two within the actual borough itself. The junior high and senior high are combined into one building, and there's a single elementary school. So I'm going to go to the furthest points I can and see if I can actually do within 5 minutes or 15 minutes, hit everything. So we're going to get started here very soon. Where I'm standing now is pretty much a geographic center of Tamaqua. This is the center park. Facing, which would be south here, the borough goes, or at least the town proper, last residences, go about 2.5-3 blocks. Going the other direction, it's about the same. It's about 3 to 4 blocks to the last residences. Behind me, that goes approximately 6 blocks. The other direction, going west, goes 7. So if you could imagine trying to balance the borough on a pinhead through geographic size and population density, this is kind of where the whole thing would balance, is this park here. So my idea is that I'm going to go to the furthest end, to the last residences in a couple different areas. I'm not going to use the north and south because they were literally the last residences across the street from a CVS, Burger King, and it's just not going to work. And in the other direction is really no different. So I'm going to find the far off areas going east and west, because that's about the furthest that you can get from where I'm standing at now. Because from here there's a convenience store 2 blocks one direction, 1 block another direction. There's a convenient care and doctor's offices, there's restaurants, there's really everything is kind of centered around and built out around the town square. But as a side note, the closest full hospital is about 4 or 5 miles from where I'm standing. So I am not going to use that as a strike against us. I'm up here at the edge, or one of the edges of Tamaqua, and I'm at one of the last residences in about the corner of the borough. So there's a couple houses in front of me, but behind me there's nothing. So from here, can I walk within 5 minutes and reach a convenience store, and within 15 minutes can I reach the rest by bike? And it's yes and no. Getting to the convenience store in 5 minutes might be more like 6.5, 7. I know this area pretty well, so it's going to be right at that border of 5 minutes or not. Definitely available by bike. The issue comes that we're sitting on top of a hill, and the climb back up is definitely going to wind a lot of people. So biking is kind of out of the question in this direction. But behind me is, well, down this little bit of a lane, is the elementary school. So when it comes to how close can you get to a school, less than 2-minute walk behind me will be the elementary school, and probably due this direction would be the middle school and high school. They share one common structure. Within 15 minutes, can you walk it? It would be cutting it close, but probably can. As for pharmacies and medical facilities, can you bike that within 15 minutes? Absolutely. I'm only a few minutes away from my own home, so I know that from mine I can easily bike to the closest medical facility and pharmacy within 10 minutes, absolute tops, and that's with heavy traffic. So at least this area is pretty much within range of the 5 and 15 minutes. There's some discrepancy and whatnot, but nothing's going to be perfect. But at least this part of the borough, you could easily walk and or bike. The biking parts is going to be difficult because it's quite a steep hill to get up to where I'm at. I'm at I would consider be the far northwest section of the town, and again, the 5 and 15. I can definitely within 5 minutes walk to a convenience store because it's kind of straight down from me. So I know that we at least have 5 minutes for a convenience store. Schools, well, directly to my right is the junior and senior high school. So yeah, definitely within 15 minutes of a school. Of course, the elementary school from the last location is only like 15 minutes from here too. As for medical facilities and regular full-size grocery stores, absolutely. Again, I'm only about 2-3 minutes from my own residence, so I know as a fact that I can, from this location, the last of the houses up here, can facilitate all of those needs. I'm at the furthest west of the borough. Behind me is the last few residences on this section. Looking at the 5 and 15 model here, well, I'm going to have to switch to a hand cam here in a little bit because this part of town has me really annoyed. But yes, you can definitely do most of the 5 and 15. A couple blocks behind me is a convenience store. About 2 blocks from there is a full grocery store. You're walking past a pharmacy on the way down. So everything pretty much from this location is 5 and 15, with the exception of schools. All of the schools, with the exception of, I think there's a local daycare behind me, is on the far other side of town, where I was earlier, the northeast and northwest of town. That's where the only 2 schools are, public schools are. All right, so I'm a little over-caffeinated this morning, and it's windy out here, so if there's some serious shaking going on, blame me in nature. But now, as I was saying about things that annoy me, is right behind me, I'll switch it, is, that was a pharmacy. It's a Rite Aid well, I think it was a Rite Aid pharmacy. But either way, it was a chain franchise. It closed not long after it opened. Turns out there's a giant sinkhole. So no one wants to build there. So what's been going on is, as you can see behind me, local school district has been using it as kind of a bus depot, which is fine. I mean, all for it, but again, I just said about being in the far west side of town. I mean, that's definitely usable space. You could. All right, I'm going to narrate this video because it's far easier for me right now to point it in this direction. This large facility here was once a YMCA gym. It closed literally right when they started lockdowns. Apparently, it was already barely profitable and barely holding on, and they realized that once they were shut down, they would be, that was the end of it. So there's a very large open space. If you look down here, we have a functioning Dollar General, as you can see. There's a closed restaurant. We had an old BRL, Buy Right Liquidators. For those who don't know, that's a retail chain that sells just expired or about to expire food. So it's safe to eat, I'm assuming. There's an insurance place down there, and a bunch of open available spaces. So here we have a large strip mall. I'm sure the video isn't showing the true scale of the whole thing, but at one time many years ago that was a James Way. So why not bring something here? There are plenty of retail chains, grocery and whatnot, that can easily find space here. The far end of the city or town, and we have amazing open buildings. We could easily put a school through here, an elementary school. We could bring in grocery, retail outlets, and whatnot. So this is just an absolute waste of space. At the last location, so I'm at, again, another geographic endpoint of the borough. Behind me are the last homes in this corner. And looking again at the 5 and 15, because that's what this video is about, and I've gotten real tired of saying 5 and 15. This is not too far away from where I showed where the old pharmacy and the empty retail space is. But they're not directly connected because of the way there's rail tracks and such to the area, that is inaccessible. So the closest point to to Broad Street, which is one of the 4 arteries, is about 5 blocks away, 6 blocks away. So are you going to walk from here to a convenience store in 5 minutes? No, you're not. Same thing with schools. Schools are way on the other side of town. So you're not walking there within 15, you're not biking there within 15 either one of the schools. So this area is one of the few, I'd almost say a dead zone, where you're really not going to have the walkability or bikeability, or just, we're going to use the phrase micro-mobility for those daily things. I realized when I was doing this that I ended up forgetting something that a lot of other parts aren't factored into this, and that is green space. It's really important to not just be able to meet your daily needs for food and medicine and things like that, but it's also important that you can have a place to go. I'm not even talking a third place, which is really important as well, which may get addressed at a different time, but you need to have green space. You need to have parks. Now, I'm at what I would consider the largest park here in Tamaqua, and it's called the Bungalow, and there's a public pool, as you can see behind me. We got playground, tons of picnic tables and things like that. And this place during better weather is really a popular place. So is this town perfect with 5 and 15? No. Is there changes that can be made and help improve some areas? Absolutely. Is that going to happen? I mean, I've already asked about bike lanes, and that turned into a whole thing of, well, we can't do that because that's a state route, so you have to go through the state, and they're not super keen, and there's population and all this other stuff. So I feel that that's just going to be one of those weird things. So if anyone wants to come out here and do some of that guerrilla urbanism, yeah, hit me up on that. So that's about it for at least the 5 and 15 minute for Tamaqua. It's not perfect, but it's a nice little town. If you like this, feel free to like it, subscribe, because I understand that people like to do these videos for their larger cities, but not a lot's being done for a small town, 7,000 population. So let's see what we can come up with, and if any changes we can have made here in town, and go from there.